Peace. This is Spiritual Lifting with V. Let me get your soul swole. Today's topic, together. And before we start off today's topic, I'd like to say peace and blessings and love throughout the world and the universe, and love to all my friends and family, and to all my viewers out there. And also I'd like to just go ahead and start today off by saying, with this topic of together, it goes so deep. And it encompasses discipline, knowledge, and growth inside our family relationships, our love relationships, and our relationships with our own self. Together embodies so many things that we can do. I often talk about, and that would give us advantages and advancements in our life. Now, I often talk about, in this world, you do nothing alone. You didn't come in this world alone. Essentially, you don't go out of this world alone, and you don't get any successes. You don't make any headway. You don't do anything by yourself. It all takes something. The same as you have the sun and the moon. You have the stars and the planets. You have man and woman. You have boy and girl. I mean, the list goes on. I want to reach on this topic of together just in that. In our times of need, in our times of desperation, in our times of joy, happiness, sadness, sorrow, we need to come together. We need to be able to be a sturdy ground to level out that situation, a support system. By moving together and doing everything together as one, we create definitely a type of unity and a bond that can't be broken. If it's in your love relationship, it's not one person in charge. It's not one person that dictates everything. Because these things, when you're working in your love relationship this way, it creates an imbalance. And though some may imagine that they do it that way, but even if the husband works and the wife stays at home, it takes a team to make that wheel run right. And sometimes it's vice versa, where the woman works and the husband stays home. If it's in a family relationship, to get through the tough times, sometimes it requires a child may have to work. Both parents may have to work. Or all children may have to work. And especially if it's a single parent home, in order to sustain great things through life. If it is the relationship within yourself, it still takes togetherness. Because you essentially have to work with yourself. That means your mind with your spirit, or also connecting with the Creator. And I think when we think to the Creator, He worked constantly together with His Son, and His Son vice versa. And we need to work constantly with the Creator and be together with the Creator, so we can be together with ourselves, so we can be a great representation for ourselves, and then that light can shine upon everyone else that's around us. Again, nothing is done alone by yourself. If you've thought back to any type of relationship, whether that's family, personal, or love relationship in your life, and maybe it didn't work out the way that you thought it was, maybe it didn't transpire the way you wanted it to, were there things that were done in a selfish manner? Were there things that were done in a solo manner, or not worked out to where it was together, where one person was doing a set of things and the other person was doing a set of things? And what I mean by that was both people bringing something to the relationship, or was it only one-sided inside of the relationship? Well, in life, we don't want that, because sometimes we're in a place of need, right? And so we need to be able to provide that support system, to be that sturdy ground for the ones that we love, the ones that are around us. And even sometimes just a representation for those who don't even know us. Because it could be the words that you say, it could be the actions that you make, it could be the motions or the way that you simply are just living your life, which then can allow you to inspire somebody else. And then they may be able to take that and then take their self to a higher level. It still happens together. You may be able to perform togetherness activities, or showing and exhibiting togetherness within your workplace. This always works out. It always makes life a little better. It always makes life a little bit more doable. I'm not saying that you can't walk through this life being single or not talking to your family or being distant from everyone. But at the end of the day, it still takes two. Even if you're living off the land, it takes you and the land, which was brought to us by the Creator. Thank you, Father. It takes you and the animals to provide you that sustenance and that food. Everything is done together. I think in these times that we're living in, there's so much divide in people because there's been so many days of isolation and separation. And we look at a lot of the ways that the mental mind state in these days and times are, and how it can't be done alone. No one's succeeding alone. And when you're pushing to just do that solely alone and by yourself, this would cause the stress, the mental stress, the heartache, the anguish, the breaking down of the family structure. And these are just some things that are actually happening in these days and times because the family structure in itself is a togetherness. I think there's so many stories throughout time where we can seek and see from our greatest prophets, our greatest teachers, where together and being together and moving together and working together was so important to conquer so many difficulties that have happened to us or that are going on throughout our life. So everyone, let's love each other, let's work together, and definitely let's bring our love energy together. I think if we strived for that more, the family structure, the ideal of being together, the ideal of loving one another and each other evenly and equally, giving a little as we're giving a little, giving a lot as we're being given a lot, and essentially making that an eternal journey to where we can give for eternity. Our lives would be so much more beautiful. Our lives can be so much more beautiful. I love all of you. And I know in my personal life, working together with my loved one definitely had helped change me. Even working together with my child had helped change me. It definitely gave me growth, knowledge, and discipline. We can't avoid the discipline. We can't avoid having growth, and we definitely can't avoid continuing to gain knowledge. These things are also part of having an open heart and an open spirit. These things are also part of us ultimately getting to the place that we can be the best version of us. I heard a statement somebody said one day. It was not about becoming a better person and being this better person and getting to this place, but why isn't it? Why would you ever tell yourself that? Because we can always improve, we can always become better, and we could always achieve more. And we can always be more dedicated inside of our love, especially in our intimate relationships with the person that we're with. Growing for our children, growing for our families, and especially growing for ourselves and growing for the Creator. These things encompass becoming better. Because every day is not going to be perfect, but every day can be better than the day before. And our lives is always going to be dealing with constant change. No day is like the day before it. The one thing that's guaranteed in this life is change. And a life without change is a life without growth. Just think about the youth of today, the adults of today, the times, the things that we deal with, the stresses and the things that are on the internet and, what have you, our news channels. There's a lot of pressure on society. But there's a lot of structure. There's a lot of morality. There's a lot of togetherness that has been broken down and being shed away. We really have to stop and really take a look at what we are doing, the energy that we're putting out there, and then what we all are actually and essentially and wanting out of this existence. I constantly say, do you want to live or do you want life? Do you want to live or do you want life? If you want life, it takes together. It takes together with yourself. It takes together with inside your love relationship. It takes together with inside your family relationship. And it definitely takes together inside the relationship with your children. So let's keep it together. It's one of my favorite sayings. My grandmother used to say it to me all the time. You gotta keep it together. By keeping it together, we're gonna have growth, we're gonna have knowledge, and we're gonna learn to have that discipline. And we're definitely gonna be moving closer to having an open heart and an open spirit and walking in the truth. I'd like to know from any of the people viewing this, where was a moment in your life where you thought you were all alone and you thought you could do it by yourself and you thought it could only take you, and then you realized or came to the realization that you needed your family, you needed your lover, you needed your brother, your sister, your child, and realized that you reached such a much more higher ground by doing it together. Or maybe it was in the workforce. I'd really like to know that. Somebody can just leave me a message or drop a line. I'd love to hear people's stories about their lives and how it relates to any of the subject matters or topics that I bring forth. This is also dedicated to a dear friend of mine, Pops. I'll miss you forever. You are forever my brother. And me and that guy shared a lot of great times together. And I will never forget them. I love you, brother. I love you. You know, sometimes if we just would reach out to each other, we wouldn't have to go through a lot of the heartache and pain. Excuse me, y'all. Because this man was my brother. And I loved him dearly. Sometimes if we just reach out and we just talk, and then I can remember the last time I talked to him was just a week ago. We told each other we loved each other. We often conversated, and we took time to pray with each other. And we remembered the times that we shared together. You never know when your clock stops. You never know when your clock stops. This life, you leave here not with the money, not with anything else. Your legacy is the memories. You leave here with your spirit and the memories. Don't waste time, people. Make a great life for yourself and do it together. Love each other. Stand strong and tall with each other. And if you're in a love relationship, love that person like there's not going to be a tomorrow, because you never know. Love that person deeply. Love your family deeply. Love each other deeply. We need some open hearts and spirits in this world, man. We need some open hearts in this spirit. And if you make yours available to those around you, we can be together. Excuse me. This is not going to be a long video today. I'm going to end it here. But As always, if anyone would like me to do a part 2 to my video, let me know, drop a line. I always love correspondence, and I'm always willing to do a part 2. If anybody has any video suggestions for me, I'm always willing to reach on a topic. See, I said I wasn't going to cry about my brother passing. Just know, brother, you got no more stress anymore. I'm going to end this with a prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. And give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For the power and the glory are yours now and forever. Amen. Father, just watch over my brother's spirit. Listen, y'all. We just really need to take our lives into consideration and our relationships into consideration, because there's always room for improvement. And there's always time to reach out. Do it together, because you don't know when you're not going to get a chance to do things together. And as always, the children are the future and we are the past. But by working together, we can all be the future. This has been Spiritual Lifting with V. Let me get your soul swole. Peace.